Good people, if I missed it, your personal base yogi. Buteyko breathing. Let's get into it. I was obsessed with Buteyko breathing for years and years and years. I was the biggest, most obsessed person about Buteyko in the world. Loved it, loved it. I was very devoted to my Buteyko practice. I did like 3 hours of breath work a day for years. Did tons of physical activity, slept with my mouth taped. Was living very much in alignment with what I saw was the ideals that Professor Buteyko put out into the world. Wonderful man, wonderful community, wonderful teachings, and gave a lot of health, gave a lot of happiness to me. Supported me in rebuilding myself, supported me in regenerating myself. And I went from a position where I was like really low in energy, like having terrible brain function, terrible brain fog, all sorts of health problems, obesity, just couldn't really move forward effectively because I didn't have the strength, the vigor, the motivation, just the function. My function, my biology in itself was distorted, was dysfunctional. I couldn't move forward effectively. And I call this not having the platform for success. My platform, my foundation was so fucked up, so messed up that I couldn't build anything. Anything I tried to build, anything, new endeavors I'd go on, I just hit all these snags, whether it's like massive anxiety, whether terrible health. Things were just so unsteady that I didn't have the foundation to go and achieve things. So I needed to find a way for me to build a platform, build a foundation to go forward and have a good, effective shot at achieving things in my life and to become a man I'm proud of. Buteyko helped me in many ways. I had like a control pause of like 4 or 5 when I started, which was terrible, horrible. Those in the Buteyko space will know what that means. I had been chronically anxious for years, had been fat for years, had difficulty exercising, breathing problems, couldn't run, couldn't do a whole lot. It was shit. It was dark times, yeah, and all sorts of cognitive difficulties, memory problems, difficulty remembering, and I was a fairly smart guy, right? So it just hurt me so bad to lose my function, lose my capacity like that. So I did loads of research, and I was looking for something that I could incorporate into my life that would rebuild me, regenerate me, give me an overall like boost in my systemic function, like at every level. So I got really into Buteyko, and I moved from having a control pause of 5 to having control pause of like 50 and then 60 over the course of years. I had like 3 different teachers, not gonna badmouth anyone, everyone tries their best. Several of them couldn't help me, they couldn't get me any results whatsoever. Then I found an incredible, I'm gonna shout her out because she was great. Wonderful person who helped me a lot. My 3rd teacher, I got my breakthrough. Jen, you're a legend, Jen Tiller. You helped me a lot, I'm grateful. So yeah, when I went with Jen, she helped me, she taught me how to actually do the breathing exercises properly. She taught me how to make them work effectively. Gave me a framework to boost oxygenation of the body and mind. And thereafter, I began to incrementally improve. But I was working so diligently and so hard, and I was so consistent without fail. I was so determined to make my Buteyko practice work for like 4 years before I met Jen. And I couldn't get my control pause up. It was stuck in that horrific low range. Then Jen helped me grow it. When I got to about 30, control pause of 30, I was just like, you know what? Fuck yes, I wanted this so bad. I wanted this so bad. It's a massive achievement. Now, I'm going to the moon with this. Signed up with an incredible mentor. Took a year-long mastermind. Got myself from a control pause of 30 all the way up to 60, and then, well, the world started coming to me. I was healthier, was fitter, was healthier, fitter. Began to lose my weight. My system, I retained a high level of oxygen for months, for over a year. I was like now I'm, in the range of 50, 60 without even doing the exercises no more. But I had to maintain a high level of carbon dioxide for months, years, and every month and every year that was spent in a higher oxygen state, I was healing. At some deep level, I was healing, regenerating. And it was great. It was great. But did it get me to the promised land? Did it get me endless energy, endless power, endless strength, unbelievable capacities? Did it unlock my genius and overall highest level of potential? I was so convinced it would. I was so convinced. I was so deep in that world. But it didn't. And no one's to blame. I wasn't, I'm not complaining. It gave me a lot of benefits. It gave me wonderful things. It changed my life in many ways. But it was a tool. It was not the tool. It was not a panacea. It was great. It did support me in my overall systemic health. I oxygenated my body, my brain, and I reaped the benefits from that. Now I'm vigorous and strong and fit and vital, have energy, you know, have function, and can go out and attack my goals. But did it clear up all my symptoms? No. No, it did not. It got rid of some things to a significant extent. It helped me with my insomnia. Did it optimize my sleep? No, it didn't. It helped me with my anxiety, reduced it a bit, yes. Did it optimize like my brain function? No, it didn't. It helped me with my like brain fog. It helped me with my mental clarity. Did it completely resolve it? No, it didn't. It bumped me up from like hellish function to good levels of function, decent levels of function. My mentor, Dr. Jesse, fucking legend, brilliant individual at every level, one of the most important people in my journey. He taught me so much about open-mindedness, about intuition, about moving away from dogma, about understanding there are many ways up the mountain, about not getting so invested into one idea and thinking that it is a panacea and it's the be-all, because many different people get results in different things, in different ways. And I had to learn that lesson. I was so stubborn, you know, and I've always been so single-minded and focused and driven, but I had to accept that. Buteyko got me some way forward, but it wasn't everything, man. I had to still go forward and find other pieces, and for me, those other pieces were circadian biology. Those things were like redox potential, mitochondrial rejuvenation, consuming DHA, supplementation, exercise, all those other things, red light therapy, all these different things, earthing. They supported me in going further and further and further and building like real high levels of energy, vitality and function. So the curious thing though, the kind of thing I need to highlight is, in the Buteyko world, it's held that once you've attained a control pause of 60, and when you've got that wonderful high level of oxygen, your positive maximum pause is at that level, all diseases, all kind of ailments, all issues fall away. They fall into the abyss amongst the high oxygen brain and body where our physiology can soar and can function optimally. And we have harnessed the power of carbon dioxide and oxygen, and we can rejuvenate ourselves and live at our highest level of vitality and potential. Now, I'm afraid it didn't happen. It didn't happen. My positive maximum pause was 60 this morning. I've been talking loads, so it's probably a bit less now. I'll do a breathing session. It'll go up to 60 again, maybe more. Yes, I'm healthier now. Yes, I've lost 52 pounds. Yes, I'm doing better. But I was at this kind of level of positive maximum pause and actually had far more problems. My function was substantially less than it is now. And what made the difference was circadian biology. What made the difference was like, honestly, a lot of the work of Dr. Jack Cruz, brilliant individual. That stuff helped me massively. Being outdoors, consuming DHA, these sorts of things. And again, I'm working with another great guy now, Dr. Marcus, and his stuff's helped me massively. But what does this mean? It means that I had to learn the lesson that there is no panacea. There is no panacea. Even at a control pause of 60, which is like supposed to be where the universe comes to you, where everything is unlocked, where you've got endless capacity. I didn't. I still had brain fog. I still had like cognitive difficulties. I still had difficulties like articulating myself. My brain wasn't functioning as well as it is now. I had to keep digging, man. Even after years of work to get myself healthier enough to retain the level of oxygen where you can have a control pause of 60, I had to still keep digging. You know? And I was frustrated as well, but I had to be very grateful for the gains in health and function that Buteyko breathing brought me. It's just that, let's just be honest, let's be totally clear. Even with a high level of oxygen, even with a high positive maximum pause, a high control pause, it's still possible to have all sorts of issues. It really is. It goes beyond breathing. It does. It does. And another thing I learned was your structure, your actually like airway itself is extremely important. The development of your airway is extremely important. So you can like retain a high level of oxygen, but if you've got habitual like mouth breathing at night, even with the tape, because your structure isn't properly developed, that will cause a myriad of problems. So then you have to go and like retrain your tongue posture. I'm doing like myofunctional therapy to this day. I'm going to start working on an ALF expander to this day. So there's even structural work that we have to consider. There's even like work we have to consider and rebuilding the airway itself, because it might not be functioning at its highest capacity. And at that point, like, we're going so far beyond what a lot of approaches to Buteyko involve. A lot of approaches that you can find amongst practitioners I just related to the breathing exercises, which for me were, yes, useful, but in my journey, physical activity was the main driver, like, was the biggest driver. How I got my control pause up was like walking for like 5-6 hours a day, sometimes 8 hours a day. That's how I really supported myself in retaining high levels of oxygen and healing myself. So yeah, I'm gonna sign this video off by just communicating the take-home point. Buteyko breathing is amazing, it's incredible. Breathwork is great, it can really support you a lot. But it is a component of wellness. It is a component of building excellent world-class performance, health, function, vitality. There are other things which can take you a lot further, and honestly, they probably should all come together and be part of a framework that people incorporate into their life. They might be empowered to use it, get some benefit from it, then dip into other things. These are all very valid to explore, but you must not fall into the trap of thinking that one intervention, one thing, will get you to the promised land. It doesn't work like that. There are many roads up the mountain, as my mentor Jesse used to say. There are many routes up the mountain, and you have to be guided by your intuition, you have to be guided by sense that's within you, what resonates with you, and you will find the answers. But open-mindedness is so important on this journey. Right, so I'm going to put that out to my Buteyko people, who I do respect and they do great work, and it is a good investment to work with someone to learn breathwork. And Buteyko breathing is an excellent form of breathwork practice, which brought me massive improvements in my health and function. But did it get me, even with a wonderful control pause of 60, did it get me to ultimate function? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. So, guys, consider that, yeah, because I know so many people are going to be where I was really desperate to get a high PMP, high CP, and I worked really hard at it. And when it came, then I was kind of bummed. So I'm going to put this out to you guys, so you can be aware of this. Keep climbing the control pause pyramid. Keep trying to get to 60, man. Keep working on it and get it as high as you can. But when you arrive at that mountain point, it might be the case that you have to start looking in other domains as well. And I really encourage you to look into circadian biology, redox potential, managing light environment, earthing, things like that, because they can give wonderful gains. Supplementation also is really fantastic. I believe in it massively. And of course consuming DHA. But there's a lot you're going to need to explore beyond what you might be doing right now, which might be potentially quite limited. Just consider my thoughts here, guys. It's entirely up to you what you do. That's all from me. I'm your personal base yogi. Have a blessed and beautiful day. Peace.